So that is the major difference. So the next step is copying the software, and for that, if you remember, we discussed about a software called WinSCP. So I'm going to use the same software again in order to copy the software. So in the last class I showed you how we can copy the software. So just you need to go to whatever the directory you want. So on the right hand side it is a Linux machine, and on the left hand side it is Windows machine. So the difference between 10G and 11G is 10G software will have only one zip file, but whereas 11G software will be having two zip files. So from 11G onwards, Oracle software will be into two parts. So as you can see here, there is a file like one of 2.zip and two of 2.zip. So you need to copy both of them to the other side. And while copying, you need to select the binary option because of changing in the ASCII format. So let the software be copied to the other side. Meanwhile, if you have any queries regarding the last class and all, you can ask me. Uh, Upgrading will have little bit different steps, Funny. Anyways, while upgrading classes, we can see that more. Uh, no, Funny. We are not going to cover from other databases to Oracle, so it is not under part of our course. We will be only covering the migration of Oracle database from one OS to another OS. So any more questions from anyone? Okay, so the software got copied successfully. Now I am switching to Oracle user, and then I am forwarding to the location where I have copied the software. So these are the two files that I have, and I need to unzip the first file first, and once the first file unzip is completed, then only we need to unzip the second one. So let us go and unzip the first one, then we will proceed for the second one. Okay. Yeah, the problem is when you are trying to unzip the file, it is going to create a folder or directory by the name database. But already if you look at, we have a directory by the name database, so some files are getting clashed. So I am just removing this database directory, and then I am unzipping the first file. No, and in my case, Sanjay, already there is a directory by the name database, and because of that it is giving a clash, saying that the directory is already existing. But maybe in your case the directory could not be there, so you might not face that issue. So the first file copy was sorry unzip is done. So let me unzip the second file. Okay. Yes, Funny, you can use /u01 itself for 11G installation also. But the only thing is you need to make sure the directory names are different. For example, if I have given, suppose 10G I installed somewhere like U01 or a 10G, then in the same location I can't install 11G. I may need to use something like this, U01 or a 11G. So U01 can be common, but the directory name after that should be different. So both the files got unzipped, and we have a directory by the name database here, under which we will be having the file, setup file. So, and as you know already, Putty doesn't allow you to do graphical installation. So we need to depend on VNC Viewer. But apart from VNC Viewer, as I said in the last class, we have so many third-party tools also available. So I'm just trying to show one such third-party tool. So we have a tool called X Manager. So you can download that from Google. So it will be from a company. So this software is from a company called netsarang.com. So if you say netsarang.com on your browser, and here you have download option, you can see. So when you click on this, you will be getting all the products information, and what you need to download is X Manager 4, or either you can even download X Manager Enterprise 4, but frankly we don't require that. So that's the reason you can just download X Manager 4, and it's a trial version. So basically it may last up to 30 days or so. So once you download that, you can install like any other software, just clicking on next, finish. And once you install your X Manager, as you can see on the desktop here, there will be a folder called X Manager Enterprise 4. I hope everybody can able to see that folder. So once you double click on this, it will open several shortcuts for you, and we may not require other shortcuts, but what we would be requiring is this one, X Start. So just double click on this X Start, and you will be getting some content like this. So in the session you need to just give a new, you need to just mention the name. So first time when you are trying to do some installation part and all, it may give you some information like this. It may ask you to enter the session name, and in the host you need to provide the IP address of the machine. Then protocol you need to select SSH. Then username should be Oracle, and password you need to specify which type of authentication you are doing, whether you are doing a keyboard interactive or you are going for password and all. And when you click on password here, you can actually save your password if you wish. So just enter your password and click on this, save my password, and OK. And usually the very first time you will be seeing this command as blank, and you need to click on this arrow mark and select the first option. You can see 7 options are there here. Out of 7 options you need to select the first one, and then here run button is there. Just click on that run button. Then it will open you a screen like what you are seeing on the screen. So here you need to go to the location where you have unzipped your software. For example, in CD04 you have a directory by the name database, and under the run installer. So you need to just invoke the run installer by saying /run installer. So the interface screens between 10G and 11G will be different, as you have seen even in Windows installation also. So here it is going to ask you about something called My Oracle support email ID and password. So we will not give this anything, but what is My Oracle support and all we will be discussing at later point of time. So just click on next after unchecking that, and it may give you a warning. Just click on yes. And the three options are there. Do you want to configure a database or install software only, or do you want to upgrade in a database? So as of now I am showing you only how to install the software. How we can create the database we will see after once we complete this installation. So after selecting the second option, clicking on next. Here ours is a single instance installation, so we need to go by that. And product language will be obviously English, and we are going to choose Enterprise Edition, and here you need to choose the location where you want to install the software. For example, I want to install in U01 for our 11G, so then I can give something like this. So here you can see something called Oracle base. So what exactly is Oracle base is nothing but the mount point or the file system in which you are doing the installation. So if you are doing installation on U02, then U02 will become your Oracle base. If you are doing in U03, then U03 will become your Oracle base, something like that. So then the below one you have is Oracle home path, that is nothing but the place where you are going to install your software. So after providing those details, you need to click on next. So this is product prerequisite information, and here you can see on the top you can hopefully you can read that it says some of the minimum requirements for the installation were not completed. So that means you can even list the parameters there. So some of the kernel parameters were not set. So this is what the difference I said between 10G and 11G. In 10G, we need to set kernel parameters well before we start the installation process. But in 11G, once it throws an error, something like here, you have a button here, fix and check again. So once you click on fix and check again, Oracle will ask you to run one particular script as a root user. So just you need to run this. So you need to execute that as a root user. So I am switching to root, and execute that. So what this script will do, you can read it here. Basically it is going to set your kernel parameters. So this is the difference between 10G and 11G. In 10G, we need to do the kernel parameter setting well before starting the installation, but in 11G, with the help of a simple script, we can automatically set the kernel parameter values. So once it is done, come back here and click on OK button. And because now the kernel parameters are set, directly it will jump you to the last screen, that is performing the installation. So here you have finish button, just click on finish and it will start your 11G installation. So any queries over here? Yeah, in real time, depends on the client and all, we may go for it. For example, we have some software called VNC Viewer, which is a free software, and if the client feels that we need not to put any extra money and all, we can go for this VNC Viewer, which is a free software. But some clients, what they usually think is, when we use some free softwares, it may introduce some virus or spyware, etc. kind of things. So they won't prefer going for a free tool. Rather, even though there is a license cost, they will generally prefer to go for licensed product. Like X Manager is a licensed product, or we discussed about some other softwares in the last class, like we have Exceed, Hummingbird, etc. So all these softwares are the licensed versions. So after 30 days the trial period will be expired and you need to buy a license. But still, some clients will prefer to go for it, because licensed ones means it's not so easy that virus attack or something can happen. Whereas with open source, always there is a danger. But all these other softwares like Exceed, Hummingbird and all, they also will be looking same exactly like the X Manager, like what I have shown you. So that's the reason we don't require to really worry about anything. I didn't get you, Sanjay. You mean to say you directly performed all this in VMware Linux machine? Do you mean to say that? Yeah, you can do either way. Either you can use putty or you can do it directly. But why I prefer to use putty is because in real time you will not be using the open terminal directly. So definitely you need to use putty only. So just to have an understanding about real time environment, I usually prefer to go through putty. So if you remember, at the end of 10G installation, we have executed some scripts. Similarly, at the end of 11G installation also, it will ask you to execute some script. So let us wait for that pop-up window. Okay, so we have that window ready. So we need to execute the script again as a root user. So just copy and paste. And if it is asking something like whether you want to override it, so don't do anything, just keep on hitting enter button. So it will be done. So that completes your 11G installation. So that is how we are going to do the 11G installation. Now let us go and see something important, which is nothing but setting up of environment variables. So for example, even after you install 11G, suppose if you say SQL plus, you can see it is saying command not found. Or even if you type any Oracle command, it will say that command not found. So this will not be the case with Windows. The reason is, in Windows, after the end of the installation, automatically Oracle will set something called environment variables. So similarly, in Linux also it need to be happen, then only all these commands like SQL plus etc. will work. So as I said, in Windows it happens automatically, but not in the case of Linux. So if you want these kernel parameters, environment variables to be set, then you need to open something called bash profile file. So that file will be there in the class. That file will be there in the home location, and basically it is a hidden file. So that's the reason, even if you say ls-ltr, you may not see that file, but if you say ls-altr, then you will be able to see that file here. So this bash profile file is the one where we need to provide the environment variables information. So that is a text file, so you can basically edit that with VA editor. So see what I am doing there. So basically when you open bash profile file, this is how it is going to look like. And first we need to enter a variable for our Oracle home path. and for that we need to go to insert mode and type this line. So for example, because my Oracle home path is U01 or 11G, I am declaring that in a line saying export Oracle underscore home, which should be in capital case, equals to wherever the location I have installed the software, I need to provide that location. So this is the first line that I need to do. And as a second change, we need to come down to the next line and we need to add something like this: $oracle underscore home slash bin. So we need to enter both of these changes, or we need to do both of these changes in bash profile file, and then we need to save the file. So first change is entering a line saying Oracle underscore home equals to the location where you have installed the software, and second one, you are going to add a phrase like Oracle underscore home slash bin to the existing path variable. So once you do these two changes, you need to save the file, and even when you save the file, still it will show you that SQL plus command not found. The reason is saving the file is not important, even you need to execute the file. So how you are going to execute is with the help of this command. You need to say dot space dot bash underscore profile. So where the first dot is going to represent that you want to execute a file, and the second one is going to specify the file name like dot bash underscore profile. So you need to execute that. And now after executing, if you say SQL plus, you can see it is working, and even you can see the version, it is for 11G. So by this you need to understand that setting up of kernel parameters is one of the important steps after doing the installation. So any questions over here? Yes, Sanjay, even if it is 10G or 11G, whatever bash profile should be there, or entries in the bash profile should be there, then only you can able to create a database, or you can able to execute any other commands. So any more questions from anyone? Okay, so let us proceed for the next topic, that is how to create a database. So database creation is basically of two ways. One is using a automated tool which is called as database configuration assistant, and shortly we call it as DBCA, and the other way is doing it manually. So first let us go and do that using DBCA, then we can proceed to manual. So again, this DBCA or Database Configuration Assistant is a graphical tool. So definitely again we cannot invoke that through this particular putty session. We need to go and do that in Xmanager session or BNC viewer. So I came down to Xmanager session again, and to invoke Database Configuration Assistant you need to type DBCA and hit enter button, but it is showing command not found. The reason is this particular Xmanager session was opened long back, and the changes you have done to your batch profile were recent. So because you did those changes on the putty session, those values are still not reflected in this Xmanager session. So that's the reason. Execute your batch profile file once again. So using the same command dot space dot bash underscore profile. So once you execute that, then you can type DBCA, and now it is going to work. So first time it is saying command not found because of the reason that you started this Xmanager session well before the changes you have done to batch profile. But second time after executing batch profile, it is giving us an error. So you can see it is saying an unexpected error has been detected by hotspot virtual machine, etc., etc. So basically this error is because of a bug we have in 11G software. So for this was already published in my blog also. So you people can just go and search in Google. There is an article regarding this, but I'm just trying to explain you what we need to do for this or in order to avoid this. So basically whenever you have a bug in place, you need to apply a patch. So similarly for this bug also we need to apply a patch. So I have downloaded that patch already. So I am opening WinSCP once again, and this is the patch that I have, so which is of very small size frankly. So I am just copying that with binary option to the server. So on the server you would be getting your patch in U04 location. So this is my patch zip folder. So I am doing unzip of that, and the moment you unzip that file, you would be getting a directory with the number of patch. So this 8670579 is the patch number. So you need to enter into that directory, and then you need to type this command. So more about patching and all those things we will see at later point of time, but as of now I'm just trying to show you what could be the solution if you face the same issue in your PCs or laptops. So once you first you need to copy the patch zip file, that is hardly of 1 MB. Then you need to unzip that, and the moment you unzip that file you will be getting a directory with the patch number, and then you need to go to that directory with the help of cd command, and then you need to execute this particular command. So you need to say oracle underscore home slash opatch. So in the first opatch, O and P are capitals, rest everything is lowercase, and in second opatch everything is lowercase, space you need to say apply. So what is this opatch? How it is going to help us? So we will see all those things at later point of time. So I am hitting enter button here. So here it is going to ask you for a confirmation, is your local system is ready for patching or not? Yes, it is ready. So you need to type Y here and you need to just enter. So you can see the patch applying got successful. Now you can minimize this and again going back to X Manager window, and now if you type DBCA and enter, then you can see it started working out. So the main problem earlier is because of that bug. To overcome that bug, you need to run those commands. So this is the first screen of Database Configuration Assistant, or shortly DBCA, and this is mainly used either to create a database or to configure some options in the database or to delete a database, etc., etc. So let us go through the slides. So because we don't have any database till now, only two options are available. One is creating a database and second one is managing the templates. So we will see what is managing templates at later. So then databases are usually divided into three categories. One we call it as transaction processing databases, or OLTP databases, more clearly to say. The second one is custom database. It's like, we are going to specify that I want only some specific options to be available on the database, but rarely or almost never we will use this option. And the third one is data warehousing environment, where it's something like more and more data will be loading on, and report generation would be there. So usually we also call them as OLTP environment. So the first one is OLTP environment, and second one will be the mixed database, and third one will be OLAP environment. So when I say mixed database, it's a combination of both OLTP and OLAP. So we need to select what option we need to choose for. So basically, whenever you got a new request in real time for creating a database, you need to first go and confirm with your client or manager, asking what type of database it is. Is it a OLTP database or OLAP and all? Because based on that, the internal configuration values will change. So and if client or manager doesn't confirm about any type, then you can go for the first option, that is general purpose or transaction processing. So once you select that, you need to click on next, and here you need to provide the database name and the instance name. So if you remember long back, we discussed one point that instance name can be different from the database name. So here I am typing down my database name, for example, and you can see automatically it is taking the instance name also as a prod DB. So whatever the name you type above, in the same content is going to appear below also. But if you wish to have some different name, yes, definitely we can have the SID name different from the database name. But usually in real time, 90% of the cases it won't happen that you will be seeing a different DB name. So once it is done, I am clicking on next. Then here in this screen it may give you an option to configure Enterprise Manager. So we will be looking at Enterprise Manager at later point of time. So uncheck this option and proceed for next. And by default, two users will be created when you are creating a database. One is sys and the other one is system. So if you want, you can provide different passwords to different users here, or to both of them. But if you want to have same password for the same users or similar users, then you can even give that one also. So from 11G onwards, the passwords are case sensitive, and also some ground rules are implemented. Like the password should be 8 characters long, password should contain a number, or it should contain a special character, etc. So Basically, what I have entered is a simple password. That's the reason it is Oracle is giving me an error saying that whatever the password you entered is very small or it's not so strong. So it's giving an error warning message. But still, I am continuing with the help of this S button. So then it is going to just show about where your files located and all. Then here itself you have the option to enable the archiving mode. So you know already when we enable archive log mode, whatever the old data is there in the redo log files, it will be copied into archive log files, or basically archive log files are like the backup to redo log files. So if you want, you can enable it here itself, but let us do that later through manual process. And we have something called flash recovery area in the above screen. Even with the for that also I will be discussing later. Then proceeding next. So by default, because this is a 11G database, and as we already discussed, 11G database contains an option called automatic memory management. That means all your memory components, including all your memory components except log buffer can be managed automatically, or the size can be managed automatically. And by default, Oracle is going to take 40% of RAM size as these values. So if you look at there, the percentage also it is showing you as 40. So out of the total size, that is 2908 MB, which is almost approximately 3 GB, 40%, which is almost 1.1 GB, is going to be allocated for this memory distribution. So if you wish to go for it, you can go for it, or you want to reduce to a much more lower value, even still you can do it. For example, I want to give only 500 MB. Yes, I can give it. Then on the screen you can see here something called character sets. So just click on that character set. So you can see here different character sets could be there. Basically a character set is for a purpose to store what type of language in the database. Suppose if you are storing English language, then you can go for one character set, but if you are storing some other languages like German, French and all, there will be some other character sets. So for any language, the universally accepted one is Unicode. So which is the second option. So when you look at Unicode AL32 UTF-8, it's something like all the languages are considered over here. And then we have the next tab as connection mode, where it is going to just specify whether you want a dedicated server mode or you want a shared server mode. So as I said, shared solution or shared server architecture is a solution which you need to implement very rarely. So that's the reason always we will go for dedicated server architecture, and clicking on next. So in this screen it is going to show you where your files are located and what are the naming conventions of those files, everything. So this is the final screen, and if you look at Microsoft Office will give you some templates already. If you don't have any template and all, it can give you some template. And similar to that, even here also in Oracle installation, you can create some templates through which you can actually create one more database very easily. So that's the basic idea of it, but we don't generally use this in real time, so nothing much to worry about it. So, and finally you need to click on finish button. So it will give you what are all the options you selected once again, and once you click on OK, it will start your database creation. So any queries over here on how to create DB using DBCA? Yeah, mostly in real time also we will go with the DBCA only. But in case if graphical interface is not working and all, then we may need to go for manual method, or otherwise completely it will be DBCA. So any other questions from anyone? No. Okay, I think server got disconnected, no issues, but that would be the screens. At the end, it is going to give you some exit screen, that's it. So once you click on exit, everything will be fine. So tomorrow we will see on how to create database manually, and also we will be looking into the other topics, the next coming topics. So any questions from anyone? Okay. So then let us meet tomorrow at the same time, and we will continue the class. So thank you everyone for joining, and if you have any questions you can send out an email to my mail ID.